Wild West Online got their official gameplay trailer out today, so we're going to watch it through and do some first impressions here. I have bought in for the alpha on this. It was $60. I went for the full thing, full package. I normally don't do that sort of thing, but I want to make the Let's Plays I would be doing a little more interesting, so I made sure to get a little extra. So let's check this out. We're going to let it play. Starts off pretty simple. There are a few facial features in the game thus far. I'm hoping that more happen, that customization happens as they said it would in the Q&A that they did. But we start off, and it looks great to me. I've kind of been out of the video game scene a while now, but this looks really good. I have no complaints at this point, detail-wise. However, there are some small issues in my mind with the character movements, namely the fist here. It just looks really awkward, so hopefully that'll get worked on a little bit, but small potatoes in the long run. Now, the fellow was talking about some basic storylines and stuff with the newspapers, so that'll be interesting to see the storyboards as time goes on. And they didn't show us the clothing store inside, and I know there's a lot of curiosity about that. But he comes back out dressed like a bandit, which is really cool. Has the bandana on his face, everything. Looks like he's wearing modern era jeans, but jeans have been around since the 1800s, so go figure. That look has changed none in 200-something years. Amazing. Then he briefly describes the saloon to us, talks about a few elements of the game that are upstairs, which I'm not really concerned with. You can see from the graphic that there's just lots of trouble you can get yourself into, and guess what? There were no antibiotics back in the 1800s. So he talks about the different games you can play, saying that they vary from location to location, which is cool. I'll probably mess with that element at some point. And then he introduced the stealing mechanism here, which is like any other major title out there. If you don't get seen doing it, you can pretty much get away with it, like Fallout, Skyrim, etc. So he stole a bottle of whiskey, and now he's running away with these hand motions like a two-pump chump here. This is great. And then he goes on to talk about the deputy mechanic a little bit, and he did dabble into the like gang marauder mechanic a little bit. The bounty process was described here. Anybody can put a bounty on anybody, something similar to what you can do in EVE Online. I'm sure it exists in other games, but that's the only one that pops into my head at this point in time. Again, the graphics look good, considering what they are. The horse mechanic was described briefly, so I'm curious to see how it goes. Now, the horse movement seems pretty smooth, but I'm sure there's some kinks with that yet. And then this is the rest cabin, where you can go here, you can do stuff with your inventory and things like that. Overall, a lot of these mechanics I appreciate adding some freedom to the game. You can go outside of town, you don't have to always come back to town to rest and hang out, which is nice. And then you can travel from fast cabin to fast cabin, or rest cabin to rest cabin. You can fast travel, which is good. And what we're doing out here, though, is he came out here to find some bandits to do those bounties. And I like this right here. This is really neat. A lot of this looks customizable, so for the future, I hope that's very expanded upon in the future. And I am very excited to see the homesteads and properties that you can purchase and own. But for a pretty much a pre-alpha setting right now, I'm very, very impressed and just absolutely can't wait to play this game. As soon as it's out, I'll be on it, download the game, loading up footage every day. I'm loving the forest detail here. You could really get lost in it if you're not careful, which I guess is a good thing, because you can really hide from somebody hunting you then. And this here shows an element of the game where you can team up with buddies. So at this point, they're probably in the same party. they're going to go hunt down these bandits. And I love the faraway shot here, the trees, everything. They really took their time to show off this detail, and I hope it looks this good when the pre-alpha starts. I'm really excited to see it. Now here you get a bit of a viewpoint of some of the guns in the game, and this is a nice old school lever action. I'm a huge fan of lever actions. I used to live in Alaska. It's my go-to gun. I own a nice Marlin 1895 that looks like a Henry repeater of some sort. Could be a Sharps. Not positive there, but the detail's pretty good on it. I'm hoping they make it a little crisper yet. And again, the hands, they've got to work on the hands. That's my biggest complaint right now. So, but this shows a neat element where you can see and anticipate where a person's going to be. He shot the shadow of the man, which killed him. His buddy shot the other guy, but then this guy got his buddy right there, and he's just flailing. This almost looks a little scripted, so I hope the gameplay is much smoother in the long run, because that definitely seemed a little scripted near the end. But I'm looking forward to it. And my biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is definitely more of the PvE elements of the game. I'm curious to see all they have there. I'm curious to see what the future holds for future expansions, what you can do with your homestead. I definitely want to see a lot more firearms than what they've discussed this far. I'm a big fan of the 1800s firearms and stuff like that. So the Colt, the Sharps, the Henry. They hopefully will add some customization options for the scopes of that time frame, although that is a little difficult to do, but there was a lot of experimental stuff back then. So I hope they add the Lewis and Clark steam gun as well. I think it was a steam gun. Maybe it was just air pressure. So it'd be neat to see that experimental weapon. But overall, really looking forward to it. I will have lots of Wild West online gameplay on my channel as soon as the alpha drops. So please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and come with me to the Wild West.